What is going on, YouTube? Today we are reacting to Does Hytale Have Any Glitches? Hytale, a perfectly balanced game with no exploitation. This is a video done by the Spiffing Brit, and honestly, I love his YouTube videos for like the Skyrim ones. I used to watch it like back in the day, and just on my own free time kind of thing. So I do hope you do enjoy today's video, and I do stream over at twitch.tv/TrueEarl and on this YouTube channel as well. I try to stream between like 12 and 1 p.m. EST as a start time, then maybe like 3 or 4 hours or something. And I'm thinking about maybe check this game after I finish GTA 5. Because I haven't played GTA 5 Story before, and I am actually having a lot of fun, but I think I'm pretty close to finishing it. But I do hope you do enjoy today's video, and let's get right into it.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello there, my
favorites. Welcome to a very special, exciting, brand new game. This is Hytale. It's been in development for a very long time.
7 years?
It's finally released into early access after a brief period of...
Well, I heard this game made like enough money where it could like, you know, make another one of these games or something stupid, like a fuck ton of money.
Being completely and utterly cancelled. Now, this isn't a proper game release. This is one of the early versions of the game that they have available. So the developers themselves tell us to expect bugs and many changes as they work towards a full release. Now, some of you might have played the alpha for Minecraft back in the day in 2010, and there's a very real chance that some of you watching the video and playing this game weren't even alive at the time Minecraft first came out. But to the vast majority of our audience, you might want to turn up your hearing aids over the sound of your creaking bones. So what is...
I must be damn old, because I think I was in like middle school and I was like roasting a kid for playing Minecraft in middle school, and because I was playing like Call of Duty and stuff, and he was playing Minecraft. I'm like, you fucking loser. And now I fucking love Minecraft. Minecraft is the best game ever, I swear.
Hytale. It's an open world sandbox game. However, this one puts a little bit more of a focus on having a fleshed out world with some lore and some things to actually explore,
maybe like a story?
Minecraft's relatively barren landscape that really requires a player's touch to actually come alive. I've been playing this game for a few hours, and in my time I've exclusively been attempting to find bugs, glitches and exploits, because I think it would be best that I share them with everyone. Yes, that means sharing it with you, the wonderful community, so that way you can have some fun with them before they get patched out, and also to share them with the developers so that way they can improve.
If I do play this game, I'm not going to use these exploits, because like I feel like exploits and bugs can ruin a game, and like I like enjoying like a little weird, like, you know, I like enjoy my story as like my adventure, you know. I don't like using exploits to have infinite amount of ammo. Oh my gosh, I can one-shot everything. That's not how I play. But for a video, this is gonna bang. I enjoy this.
Fix their game to make it more exciting and fun for others. Now, if you've seen one of my videos before, you know that basically all I do is break video games. But the structure of this video is going to be a little bit different. We're mostly going to be hopping between crazy different things that you can do in this game.
Like Rihanna Keeves, that's his name. Rihanna Keeves.
To its extremes and can allow you to do anything from duplicating blocks to bypassing the laws of physical reality. The sky's the limits with Hytale, and I love this game engine. So pour yourselves a nice warm cup of tea, give the video a like, and let's have some fun today. So
I just finished my tea.
Landscape of Hytale. It's very beautiful. We have ourselves particle effects. We have ourselves stone rubble, and most importantly, the game actually runs. I know it's fantastic. And what a lovely world it is.
A lot of games don't.
Nice bright skies, glorious forested landscapes, weird terrain formations that invoke excitement, and also an actual proper in-game
That's really nice.
It's amazing how far we've come since 2010. So first things first, there is one fun little bug that I wanted to show off to the developers. It's not exactly a problem, but it is very entertaining.
Hyper speed scrolling.
So developers, something I noticed is that when playing the game, I like to normally play games at a relatively high FOV. So sometimes I like to drag my field of view settings up all the way to the maximum.
Maybe not 120.
Perspective. This is a very useful way of seeing if there's some odd interactions with the placing of blocks and reaching objects that can occur at really wide or confined FOVs. But we'll be getting onto those glitches later. So something I noticed when I dragged my FOV to maximum and then increasing the screen distortion from sprinting, something rather silly can occur. Let's say we set it to just a nice 1.1. Well, what happens when we run is the sides of the screen slightly bend back a bit to give you that sense of motion and fluidity. Lots of video games use this trick.
It's speeding up,
There's just one slight issue. If I go into the settings and crank this bad boy up to the maximum of 1.5, we enter into what can only be described as the Star Wars hyperspace mode, as the entire world folds back on itself, and we quite simply can look under the map, as well as
you can.
This very cool visual effect.
Wait, is
just truly glorious.
Dude, that's kind of cool.
This is actually how I prefer to play all of my video games, on a linear flat plane. Yeah, it can only be described as truly magical. Now, even though it will make you feel like you're...
Wait, imagine they had like some sort of like mod or something where you you like travel long distances, but it has like an animation, and this is what the like animation's like. You go through like a portal kind of thing, but it's like a hyperdrive portal, like, and this is what it looks like. That'd be actually really cool.
Going exceedingly fast. This doesn't actually increase the pace at which we're moving.
But it looks like it did.
Really good. So yes, you might want to ever so slightly change the calculations you're using, guys, but as you can tell, not exactly a groundbreaking necessary thing you need to rush off and cancel the game over. So let's quickly set our FOV back to normal before you guys end up vomiting at your screen or something.
I think 90 is a good FOV range.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I've been running around the mines, gathering various
things. Another?
And there's some, you know, evil creatures down here that, sure, I might be able to try and fight, but realistically, with a crude sword, it's not going to go well. The problem is, I am deep underground, and it's going to be quite challenging for me to work my way out of here. However, I have myself a little solution using a creative game mechanic, I know. So if you find yourself deep underground and you can't be bothered to make your own way out of it, allow me to demonstrate a brand new glorious alternative technique. Simply dig into a wall just a little bit. Here we're going to quite simply do a little bit of a secret method using a diagonal jump trick. All you want to do is make sure you have a nice bit of surface ahead of you. Then above the third block, you're going to want to chisel yourself out a little bit of space and remove these two blocks here. And then you're going to want to try and mantle your way up. Now you'll notice something visually interesting happens. Well, we kind of just teleport upwards.
Oh, wait, yeah.
Very good indeed. What we then want to do is place a block right here. So quite simply, what we're going to do is diagonally mantle like so, which the game is then going to interpret as moving me to the right one block.
It's going to put his head in the, thing.
Because the space above me right now is free, it's going to allow me to mantle. Whereas if I try and jump up here, I can't. But because I'm going to mantle one space to the right and then mantle upwards into that block there, the game gets a little bit upset and teleports me through the floor.
Hold on, guys, I don't think this is a bug or I think this is just efficiency. Okay, I kind of like this. I'm not gonna lie. This is actually kind of useful.
To find the nearest safe point of terrain that I can attach myself to. This is quite an easy
this is really cool too.
So we've warped ourselves up another cave system, and then I can repeat this process by breaking all these blocks like so, and once again mantling my way up. And would you look at that, I've just found daylight.
I'm not gonna lie, how did somebody even find actually I'm trying to think of how you get in this situation. I guess it's just a random situation like that. Like you thought you could do it, and then it just happened to somebody, and he just found a YouTube video on it. You know, that's how he found it is probably how I found it.
Huzzah! Oh, and a mysterious floating tree. Sorry, sir, you're gone too.
Oh, tree buddy.
Yum, 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 yum.
I really like the tree breaking in this game. It just drops everything at once.
Exploring, looting, and stealing anything that was or wasn't bolted down. You know, like a true British gentleman does.
I'll put him more into you, lad.
Tiny creature.
Oh, little rat buddy.
Goodbye, tiny creature. I'm just going to head back to our spawn location so we can continue our exploits. Of course, we have got actually quite a distance to travel, and that can be quite frustrating. But luckily for us, the game actually has a little solution. You see, if you simply hold down the spacebar and do a power attack with the daggers, you get a nice little lunge forwards like this. There's just one slight issue. You can do this over and over again to chain together a nice amount of speed and travel really quickly across the landscapes. The developers, however, have balanced this by making it so that you can only power attack if you have stamina. There's just one slight issue. If you eat some kind of food that gives you stamina regeneration, you can pretty much chain this back to back over and over again.
Doesn't look like you can.
You to power attack jump. It's all very good. And
oh wait, oh my god, you can.
Easily, but there's a way to do it even faster. You see, if you start the animation, but then quick switch away to something else, you can actually more rapidly fire off the next boost, allowing you to build up a greater top speed, like this. Very nice indeed. But it goes an extra step further than that. For those of you who are really good at video gaming, if you quick switch away from the item, soon after you start the animation of the power attack, but before the stamina is taken away, you're able to sometimes have the power attack go off without it actually consuming any stamina. Just like that there. It is really hard to get the timing of this right, and the only way to do it is to practice over and over again. There we go, I managed it there again. But once you get the timing sorted, it then becomes making traveling the map really, really easy. You can speed up this entire...
Does this game have public servers yet or anything like that? I hope not, because there's gonna be so many sweats on this game. There's so many sweats are gonna be using that. That's just like, you know, PvP. They're just gonna be dashing around like that. That one actually for PvP reasons might actually have to get it so fixed.
Process by using a keyboard macro, and it will allow you to achieve a speed faster than the game can actually comprehend.
Oh, there it is, macroing. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Demonstrate my brand new favorite weapon of the game, rock. Quite simply, without any cooldown, you can just hurl a rock at something. Yes, it only does 2 damage, but it is quite fun.
Poor rat, buddy. Infinite
so
everything?
One of the interesting aspects about Hytale is that unlike Minecraft, it has a very advanced building system which allows you to very rapidly build up magnificent mega projects with glorious scope and scale to them. There's just one slight issue. The gathering of the resources can take a lot of time. I mean,
yeah,
sure,
that makes
chopping
sense.
down a tree in one go is really satisfying, but when you're having to do it 1,000 times to build a wooden fortress, that's not exactly a great feeling.
Hopefully it's redstone in this game.
For you. You see, like most video games, when we place a block, the block is taken outside of our inventory and placed on top of a structure. There's just one slight issue. If instead we get quite a distance away from the block, about as far away as we can get, and then try and place it like so, you'll notice that I still have 67 wood in my hotbar. This is because the way the game processes things is quite interesting. Provided I'm a sufficient distance away from what I'm placing, it's technically not going to take it out of my inventory. Now this works for wood, it works for cobblestone. In fact, it works for every single placeable block in the entire game.
Oh my god. I see the vision. So if you get iron ore or make a block iron and then you do that and then you can just infinite, it's like a duplication glitch. That's a weird, what in the coding has like that to do for that to happen? That's so weird.
So a brand new lovely day. And with this day, we're going to make ourselves something quite unique. We're going to make a repair kit. It might not seem very useful, but it's actually one of the most powerful items in the entire game. So for example, take this door. Quite simply, I can press F to interact with it when I'm close to open and close it. But of course, if I walk too far backwards, I can no longer interact with the door and open it. How very frustrating.
So what the repair tool is going to do?
Interesting and switch to having the repair tool in my hand. Suddenly I can interact with it and close these doors, despite the fact that if I don't have the repair kit in my hand, I can't. How very interesting. So is there a limit at the range I can interact with these doors?
He's gonna say no. Please tell me no.
If I run all the way over here and build myself a little podium using these wooden blocks, there you go, I can see the wooden door over there. I can press F and I can still open and close it. How very interesting indeed.
Oh my gosh, I just found a prank to do on friends. Oh my god, I found a prank you could do on friends. Like you just like really far away, just have the repair tool and spam. It's like, why is my door opening? It's like, I don't know, man. What do you mean? Is there it's like what do you mean it's opening? It's impossible. You can't just open it by itself. Look, it's doing it. And then like whenever I come over, it just stops.
Provided it's genius. In your render distance, using a repair kit, you can interact with anything in the game. This includes my bed, allowing me to teleport across the map. We can also open up our chest and take items from it, despite it being really far away. Access our workbench, the tanning rack.
This is kind of nice.
Furnace, do some crafting. Right, so I've decided.
Well, I also realized this is kind of like having a. It's from Minecraft mods. It's a ME system. It's called the ME system, like the little computer thing where you craft like this. It's very similar to that.
Demonstrate the main power of using the repair kit and why I honestly don't think it should necessarily be patched, because it allows me to traverse great distances with relative ease. I have built what I can only describe as something that maybe your mother used back in the day, the pole network. Quite simply, construct a pole anywhere on the landscape and place on top of it a random stool.
Not mother, dearest.
Using the repair kit, you can warp on top of the pole by pressing F. Then all you need to do is sight the next pole in the network.
That's pretty creative.
I've got this bad boy here who I just press F and warp to from over there. Then I've got another pole just located over there, so I warp over here. Huzzah, I'm traversing great distances now. Then I have another one there, so one quick warp later, turn myself around, find the next little location to warp to, and then suddenly, oh my goodness, is that all of my stuff, including my bed? Yes, it is. Cool. So using just this random repair kit, I'm able to teleport vast distances without having to move those pesky legs. Yes, this is the nice and lazy way to play the game.
I think they should create like an item where it's kind of like the magic mirror from Terraria, but it like uses maybe like a resource. Like you could get like a stack of them in your inventory and then you just use those, but after using them it starts going down a little bit, make it balance, you know? I think that'd be really cool. I don't know. That's like the worst problem.
The main menu, ladies and gentlemen. My goodness. For the next set of bugs and glitches I want to show off, we won't be using our survival world. I mean, we could. They do work in the basic survival mode, but it's just a lot easier for me to use creative for the purposes of our demonstrations. But before I do that, I also want to bring some attention to the My Avatar section of the game. Developers, if you're watching this, you've done a splendid job. The amount of insane characters you can put together in this game already is wild. I've seen it pushed to its limits. I think those seems free. Punch Man had to make Miku from Fortnite. And more Nintendo IPs that you can wave a cease and desist letter at. Wait, what's that moving towards me? Oh god, it's a Segway!
Is it Mumbo Jumbo?
Of course, if you want to look even better than these avatars, you should go to spiffing.store today and buy these amazing things. Look, a mug for your tea. How incredible. Anyway, back to the video.
W mug.
All right, welcome to our world, ladies and gentlemen. A glorious, untapped landscape ready to be decimated by my exploity mind. So you might remember that previously I've shown you how to climb out of any surface using exploits. But we don't just have to travel vertically when we're doing our exploits.
Horizontally?
No, allow me to demonstrate with something that requires a very advanced and complex item. I'm, of course, talking about a door. You need a 2-block space that you can walk in. Then all you need to do is walk into the side where you place the door. The door covers half of the block, you see. However, there's a slight problem. When we swing the door closed, the game can't find a location to put us, so it pushes us back a space. But that puts us inside of a wall, which then means as we are inside of a wall, we get put out underneath the map. Now that we are underneath the map, we can actually move around at quite an incredible pace. This allows us to get extra spicy again when we crank up the field of view and the sprint effects, and the world gets really weird. Ooh, look at this. How on earth do you want to interpret this art? But yes, we've basically just teleported across the map, and we ended up in a nice pool of lava.
I can see why he wanted to do in creative. That actually makes sense now, because he would have died for sure. High-speed rail network?
On the surface, I can demonstrate a few other exploits that are potentially a bit easier to pull off. This first one is rather easy and it involves
rails. I like rails.
Quite simply, if you take yourself a little minecart and go down into the ground like so, you can end up in a very unique situation where your minecart doesn't quite behave as it's meant to. Basically, if you find yourself going at a 45-degree angle on a minecart, the game once again doesn't know how to position your player model, and so it decides to just quite simply move you in incredible directions until you find yourself level at another point that matches the height mode of where you set off. But considering how common it is for minecart tracks to, you know, have a habit of going downhill, it does create a bit of a problem if every time you hit a 45-degree angle, your entire character is being sent into the wacky world of adventure. Oh look, I've just ended up in a cave system somewhere. But depending on the angle at which I disembark my minecart, I can actually get teleported back to my starting location. But using this, it allows us to kind of have a one-way optional teleportation, where provided we get off our minecart in an entirely solid environment, we do stay in our designated location, or if we prefer and stay in the immaterial world, we can choose to disembark and get sent straight back to where we began.
Oh, that's kind of cool, actually.
The angle you face the minecart and get on it at is the one that actually matters here, and you generally go off in a 60-degree angle away from the direction you're facing. But
mirrors and shit?
We managed to use it to teleport ourselves all the way from around about here to here in a matter of seconds, rather than having to use our pesky legs. Now, you only get stopped on the minecart when you hit an open cavern. So this means that if you're a player and you're trying to build a high-speed rail network, provided you can create a solid tunnel of matter between you and your destination, you can move across the map at an incredible rate, albeit provided you can learn to master the glorious art of angling your minecart at the start of your wall.
Glorious art.
We can do something pretty funny with our minecarts by laying them out in a very strange way. You see, if you place your rail on top of a block like so and then break the block underneath it, the rail is of course gone. But instead, if you place another piece of rail next to it and then break the block, the floating levitating piece of rail stays. And you can even attach more rail to it. Because as far as the game is concerned, we have ourselves a solid block under there somewhere. So once again, we can attach ourselves with more rail, angle it around the corner like so, and huzzah, you've got even more levitation going on. Of course, you do want your rail to also increase in height, and the way in which we do this is quite simply like so. Break the blocks in this triangle, and we've got ourselves a levitating roller coaster.
Yeah, it looks like it's down on it too.
Walk under. No, it's just like the Blackpool Pleasure Beach, where no one's quite sure what's holding everything together anymore. Also, when inside of a minecart, you can just no-clip for all of the railway tracks, which is, you know, I guess something to remember. Maybe look into that. Not really that important.
I don't think that's very I don't think so.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That just about wraps up everything that I have to show off for you today in Hytale. I've only had my hands on the game for a day now, but I thought it'd be good fun to show off all of the things I discovered, so that way you can use them all with your friends before they get patched by the developers. Anyway, I'm sure you've all subscribed, liked the video, and commented and all of that jazz now, so all that's left is for me to say one last farewell, where I show you one final glitch. Are you ready, ladies and gents? Let's go.
You
you're finally awake.
Can't believe I got hit with the Skyrim. Oh my god, that actually got hit with the Skyrim. That's insane. Yeah, but honestly, bro, that was actually a banger of a video. Holy shit, he actually found some crazy exploits. I'm not gonna lie, some really kind of useful ones too, and interesting ones. I really enjoy that. I think the most one I found useful was, well, yeah, useful, really exploity. One that would, like, people would probably abuse is infinite duping thingy, anything. That's one people would definitely exploit. And maybe the ultimate reach. I think those two are the biggest ones. But I do hope you did enjoy today's video. Please like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you guys would like me to react to next. Tell me which ones you guys would actually be using in your world. I would like to know. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. See ya.